I'm Jenny Fish with One Big Happy Yarn Company, and welcome back. We are working on block number 8, 2-color cable for the 2024 block of the month knit along. Here is the block we're going to be making. We have cables in one color, and then the outside of our block is done in another color, just like that, and I'm going to show you how we do that. First of all, we're switching up. We're going to a size 10 needle. The reason that I'm bumping up from an 8 to a 10 is because when you knit cables, they have a tendency to change your gauge. So in order to compensate for that, we are adjusting our needle size. Now I want to show you what this looks like in the finished blanket right here. Now you'll notice that it does look a little narrow as it's out here by itself, but once you get your borders on, once you seam it up and put your borders on, it does stretch out to the 5 inches, so it works perfectly fine. But that's what that looks like. We are also introducing bobbins, and I chose to use bobbins for this project because I didn't want to carry the yarn, and the reason why I didn't want to carry the yarn, and that means you just keep the yarn and do what's called a float underneath. The reason why I didn't want to do that is because I didn't want this center section to cinch up, and if I floated between this cable and this cable, it has a tendency to do that. So I chose instead to use bobbins, and that is where I have separated out yarn in these lovely little bobbin holders. And in the pattern, I tell you how many yards you need and how many of each color so you can pre-wrap your bobbin before you get started. So I want to walk you through how I did that. Now, when you get these bobbins, and if you're interested in these, you can look in the description below. There'll be a link that you can order these. But when you get them, they'll have this paper on the back side of it, and you can just take a pen and score that paper and then just peel it right off, just like that. Super simple, super easy. You don't have to soak it or anything. You just score that paper and then it peels right off. It doesn't leave any tacky residue or anything. So that is our yarn bobbin. In the pattern, it'll tell you how many yards of each color and how many bobbins you need. I want to show you one of my tricks for figuring out the yardage. So take my tape measure, lay it on here. And now this is not exact science, but it'll get you close enough. Pull it out to 36 inches. And then I'll pinch that. And then there's 2 and 3. We're just going to do 3 for now. That's 3 yards, roughly 3 yards. And I did add a little cushion to those numbers, so feel free to use what is listed in the pattern. Clip my yarn and then just wrap it around. There are numbers on here that tells you, like there's a 1 that has a little notch right there. I slide that in there, wrap it around here, then you can wrap it around here. Basically, I'm just wrapping it around to secure it. Then when I get close to the end, I just like to do this little backwards loop and slide it through number 5, and that holds it on there just like that. Then when I'm ready to use it, I can just loosen that up and start working with it. Okay, so I have all my bobbins made. I've got my size 10 needles. Now we're ready to cast on. You'll cast on using the one that has the larger amount of yardage at 6 yards because you're casting on and binding off in the same color for this block, so this one will be your thicker one. It has more yardage on it. I'm just going to do a long tail cast on. I'm casting on 20 stitches, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you how we get started. Okay, so I've cast on all my stitches. I've cast on 20 stitches. A reminder, I'm using a US size 10 knitting needle. That's going to go ahead and compensate for the gauge. We're going to go ahead and knit the first 3 stitches using the first color. So 1, 2, 3. So now I'm ready to start with my second color. Just unwrap it a little bit on my bobbin. Give myself some room to work here, and I just start knitting, and I'm going to knit the next 6 stitches using the second color. Now I'm back to the first color, so I'm going to grab another one of my bobbins. Give myself some slack here. Make my loop and attach it. And I'm knitting 2 stitches in the center here with the first color. Then I'm back to the second color, but I'm going to go to my second bobbin. So it's nice to have these already portioned out so I can just pick up and go, and I'm not dealing with a lot of different skeins of yarn here. And then the last 3 stitches are going to be in the first color. Grab my next bobbin. Just like that. So now I've got my colors in place. Throughout this project, or throughout this block, just keep in mind too that every stitch that you're knitting, you're going to be using the same color as that stitch. So once you get this portion set up, then everything's really where it needs to be. And we'll go ahead and work those. I'm going to work back and forth, knitting and purling. I'll show you the purl side here real quick. We're just going to simply purl each color with its color. Okay, so I want to show you how I wrap the yarn. When I'm changing colors, you have to be sure that you wrap these 2. Otherwise, you'll have gaps. So what I like to do is just always wrap it the same way. I take the old color, that's the one I was just working with, over and bring the new color from underneath, just like this, and then pick up and start purling with that. And that'll wrap that yarn around to keep from forming gaps in your knitting. So go ahead and I'll show you that one more time when I get to the next color change. I'm going to purl over. And on this first one, everything's a little loosey-goosey because you have your tails. And like I've said before, feel free to go ahead and adjust your tension by pulling on that tail so that your stitches will remain consistent in size. I'm going into the next stitch, which is the first color, the white, and I'm going to take my purple, pick up the bobbin, wrap it over my hand like that so I know it's completely over, and then I'm going to come from underneath and grab the white one, make sure that tail's out of the way, and now I'm going to bring that up and purl with it, and that is wrapping those 2 strands around each other. Here, and this first purl row is a little finicky because you have some tails that are loose, and again I'm just going to pull that, and now I'm going to take the white, lift it up and over my hand, come from underneath, grab that purple, and start purling with that, and that wrapped those 2 around. You'll do the same thing on the knit side. I'll finish this row and flip over and show you what it looks like on the knit side. And again, that little stitch there is a little wonky. I'm just going to pull on that tail, tighten it up, slide it in, take the purple over, bring the white up, and then purl those last 3 stitches with the white. Just like that. There we go. Now I'm back on the right side. I'm going to straighten out my bobbins, and then I'll show you how we knit across, wrapping the yarn on the knit side. Okay, so sometimes our bobbins will get a little tangly or a little fussy, but that's okay. Just take a moment, straighten them out, and then you're ready to keep on knitting. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. I'm knitting the first 3, and I want to show you what it looks like when I wrap the yarn as I'm changing colors. Now I'm going to the purple color. I'm taking the white, moving it over here, coming underneath, not grabbing my tail. There we go. Come underneath, grab the color I need, and start knitting, and that wraps those 2 around. So I'll continue on following my pattern in my chart, and then I'll show you how we work the 3/3 right cross. Okay, so I've worked up and I'm ready for row number 5 where we're going to introduce the 3/3 right cross. I'm going to go ahead and work the first 3 stitches in the white. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to prepare for the 3 over 3 right across. It's a cable. You can use your cable needle. We're going to slide those stitches on and hold them to the back. Then we're going to knit the first stitch that's on our needle. We also have to remember that we need to cross over our yarn. So the old over the new. I'm going to grab this up and then knit into this stitch. Just like that. 1, 2, 3. Then bring my cable needle up. Be sure that you take some time. Go a little slow. Make sure you don't get it wrapped around your bobbins. And then we're bringing this up. And I like to slide it back onto my needle, but you can work from the cable needle if you want. Slide that back on there, making sure everything's going in the right direction. And then knit those 3. Just like that. Now I'm going back to this color. Don't forget, you need to go over old over new. So let me arrange my bobbins. I'm going to move this over here. Pick up and knit with this. Cross those over. Knit those 2. Then I'm doing the 3 over 3 right across again, and I'm going to show you with the DPN another way that you can do it. I'm going to slide that to the back. Now I'm going to knit these 3 stitches, and again I've got to remember to twist that yarn. So take that bobbin over there, bring this one over here, and then when I knit into this first stitch, I kind of pull a little on here. It seems to close up that gap a little bit, just a little bit. You don't need to like strangle it, just tug on it a little bit, and then knit those 3 stitches. Then I'm bringing my double pointed needle up, and I'm knit those 3 stitches. Now I'm using the US size 9 double pointed needle for this cable twist because these are the double pointed needles that we'll be using later on in the project, so they're already in our supply list. For these stitches, it doesn't really matter that it's one size smaller than the needles that I'm normally using. So don't worry about that. If you thought about that, oh, it's not the same size, it's okay for that little twist. Set that over there. Now I'm ready to go back to my white. So I'm going to put my needle in there, find my yarn down here, make sure it's the right one. I tugged, I see that stitch tighten up. Take my bobbin. Oh, wait. Old over new. See? Look how confusing that can be. Take the purple that I just finished knitting with, grab the white, not the tail, but the yarn from the bobbin, and then they're crisscrossed. I can start knitting with that now. That helps a little bit with the yarn management as well if you just go ahead and put your bobbins in the right place now. Now I'm ready to turn over and I'll be purling back. Ooh, here we go. Red robin, red robin. Okay. I need a little bit more slack for my bobbin. I'm just simply going to pull that backwards loop off, release a little bit, and then again I'll show you. I just slide that right there through the notch, hold that over the side. You don't have to do that. I just found that that was easier for me to do it that way. And now I'm just going to purl all these back, same as we did before. Now I'm switching colors, old over new. Take my white one over there, bring my purple one back here. And purl. Yeah. Now this one can come back over here. Slide my needle in. Grab the next one that I need. Oh, I got it wrapped around there. See, sometimes that happens. Just take a minute now. There we go. Now it's in the right spot. Take my purple one, I'm going to set it over here for a second, grab my white one from underneath, knit those 2 stitches, slide my needle in. I'm bringing the purple one back over to my right side because I'm done with that one. The white one that I just finished, I'm going to put it over here, come underneath, grab my next purple one. Oh, that was a tail. Oh, he's hiding out down here. Oh, look, I dropped a stitch. Simple. I caught it real quick with my right needle, slide it back on up there, and then purl it. Okay, here we go again. Take this bobbin, bring it over here, bring the white one back to the right, bring the new one up from underneath, like this. Okay, now I'm ready to start knitting with this one. There we go. We've purled all the way back and we've changed all those colors. Now I do want to show you, see, when I do this, you can see that there's no holes, they're locked together. That's from twisting the yarn, from wrapping the yarn every time I change a color. So that is the 2-color cable block. So don't forget, if you want a set of these bobbins, you can click the link in the details below and that'll take you to a page where you can find those. This is a step towards the final block, block number 9. We're going to be doing some more 2-color cables, but in a different way. So join me back here next month and I'll show you how we do that. Thank you so much. Happy knitting.